come to the bold analysis. There is a trending video I want us to look at. This is a video that was captured in Ngina Waterfront in Mombasa when William Ruto visited the place and interacted with some hustlers there. That video has been pointing out the clear objective of William Ruto's coastal trip, which according to me was actually a tourism trip. Ruto is in the coast for 5 good days. Watch that video here.
Sasa hii kutoka pale hapo na mama mnauza nini?
Kuna maji, soda.
Nani chama ni hii soda hii? Moja hii.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a place that William Ruto visited and interacted with the hustlers. That 1-minute video was actually edited by the State House team, and the UDA bloggers circulated it in the social media spaces with a very clear objective. The objective was to show how down-to-earth Ruto is and to show how he's still interacting with the hustlers. I need to admit, one of the most difficult challenges that UDA leaders are struggling now to do is how they can endear themselves to the hustlers. That is the biggest challenge, because immediately people go to their offices, their jobs and their appointments, they fueled their cars, migrated from those places and now bought posh homes and houses in the leafy suburbs of Nairobi. So they're no longer the hustlers that someone really expected. And I want to say this, that the move there was, even to go to visit that place was very intentional. The truth be said, there is nothing going on in Ngina Waterfront. I was in Mombasa last weekend. On Sunday I was in Mombasa. And I visited Ngina Waterfront. I think it was on Monday. There was no activity going on there. So much of that which is supposed to be spearheaded, or rather to be for president to see, there is no project that was launched there. So clearly, William Ruto went to that place to interact with those hustlers so that they would get that video of him, you know, buying some stuff. And again, the other second objective I was there was to give hustlers some cash. Those groups, they were given some 1 million to divide amongst themselves, allegedly to support their business. And I'm looking at that group. They are roasting maize. It is a unit. The unit cost of that business is around 1,000, if I'm not wrong, if you include the price of maize and maca and all that. So even if you give them 1 million, maybe they're going to open another business, but it's not supporting. That business cannot grow beyond where it is. Unless you want to tell me that someone wants to own the whole, you know, the whole space. Unless this person chomaring Mahindi will leave that Mahindi and now start opening and something business. So it was a clear intention to give them money. But when I was at the coast, we drove all the way to Nairobi. And somewhere in the middle there, I had a stopover. I was making some purchases and I interacted with some lady there. I managed to ask her some, trying just behind the scene undercover, what exactly were her position. In fact, I asked her that president is around here, so what exactly do you guys think? And she was very open. She didn't even know I was recording her. But what she told me is something that I would really want you to watch here.
Election. Utaona venye baba atapita. Yaani atapigiwa mpaka na watoto.
Sahi. Hapo watu walikuwa na.
Uliona Emali? Uliona Emali wale kwa news? Iki aingie kando.
Wale watu wanatoka walienda Emali wanatoka hapa. Watu walienda wale walikuwa Emali. Emali ni watu huko, si ndio?
Si ni hapa Hayo walikuwa wanadanganya tu watu walileta. Hakuna mtu alileta.
Hakuna mtu alileta.
Watu wanateseka sana. Yeye ndio mwenye anasomesha atasomesha nini?
Unajua ni Kalonzo ndiye anatoa. Sasa lazima ujitokeze. Kalonzo mtoe. Watu wana Kalonzo ndiye anatoa.
Anafaa kumtoa. Baba hawezi itisha tena.
Huku watu walijitokeza.
Hata kesho utaona.
Si nimeona hoteli pale imeandikwa bottom up. Nadhani ile shida.
Maji msaini kitunguu. Ni 7 hii kwa hapa. Hii mimi nitakwenda mbele.
Kitambo ulikuwa
2200.
Na mbona kwa nini imefanya? Lakini sasa pia bei ikiwa juu watu wanakuja.
Now, what does that show you? That even though William Ruto has gone full campaign mode, but the ground is still very slippery. And if you allow me use the best word, whatever is happening, Ruto was in Meru, then Isiolo, I think he went to Nyanza shortly, he actually went to Nyanza, then was in Vihiga, now in Mombasa, you'll realize that he has not gone to the Rift Valley. He's left out the Rift Valley. It is a purely panic campaigns. And when you listen to messaging in those events, you realize that there is no difference between William Ruto, the deputy president who was campaigning last year in May, vying for presidency, and William Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, now defending his government. I listened to his speech in the coast. Listen to this. It is purely campaigns and these panic campaigns. Get this here.
Kwa wachungaji wa taifa letu la Kenya, nataka niwahimize na hichi kifungu katika kitabu cha James 4:17 nataka mkisome kwa bidii na mkizingatie sana. Wachungaji wa taifa letu la Kenya, msimame na ukweli. Hii Kenya inaongozwa na sheria, na kama sheria ilifuatwa ya uchaguzi hadi mwisho, wachungaji muache kutoka kupeana statement ya kusema Rais William Ruto aende afanye dialogue na Raila Odinga. Mushikane nyinyi, muende mkaonane na kiongozi wa upinzani na muambie ukweli. Ukishindwa, haijalishi umeshindwa na kura 1,000,000 ama kura 1.
And so that is why I'm saying that why Ruto has gone on top of the car is purely panic campaigns. And the panic campaign is because the Azimio la Umoja are digging and they seems to be scooping the hustlers on their side. Raila Odinga has endeared himself to the hustlers and now everyone is struggling. Why do you think that Ruto has gone back to campaign? But I want to explain more in details. My strong point, observation, why the panic campaigns is a misadvice and it will fail flat. Apart from it being too premature, it has its own repercussions. And let me tell you, one of the reasons why these panic campaigns cannot see the light of the day is the sweet words that are being shouted on top of the car do not correlate with the policy directions that are being made in the cabinet. Let's truth be told. The finance bill, suspension of finance bill has been lifted by the Court of Appeal. And part of what was proposed in that finance bill is not in correlation with the bottom-up economic agenda, at least in the eye of the voter or the eye of the commoner. So whether you can make good announcements on top of the car, you can explain using very strong vocabularies and a very convincing language. But if those sweet words do not correlate with the policies that are being made back here in Nairobi, then the ripple effect here is people will not feel what the government is doing. There is no result. I'm trying to look at even the activities. What is being launched? You know, there's some that, not that much. Trucks there, launch, the trucks are fueled, they leave. They go, they come back again after some few months. In fact, someone was making a very strong observation they had that what is happening now is what the DP, is what Ruto used to do when he was a DP. Remember during the Tanga where Uhuru Kenyatta was blaming him that he was moving and launching projects that were not even in the budget. And he would move one place to the other. And Uhuru had to put a stop to that because for him, he was doing this project especially for visibility. And Uhuru had to stop that. That brings me to the second reason. Ruto is struggling to get visibility. At least as a president, I know there are places that he's never gone. Just yesterday he was in Tana River, the place where the helicopter was supposed to land, Gamba, and it didn't have to, it had not. That was the second time that he was visiting that place, because the last time he visited it was in July 2014 when he was the deputy president. So 9 years later, he was visiting that place. Even during the campaigns, no political leader went to that. Of course, it has been a volatile place in terms of security. And so, that is just trying to penetrate and to get visibility so that people will know. You know, as a president, of course, you want everyone. You know, there are some who have never seen the president. It's trying to get legitimacy, you know, at least in Nairobi, nearly all of us, quite a majority of us have seen Ruto and so. But then there are some remote places that they've never seen their president. But while it's aiming at boosting visibility, but it also comes with the transparency question. Because the more people are seeing you, the more they're asking themselves the tough questions. What is he doing for us? You know? The more the question of message penetration, the more you get to the people, you try to penetrate the message, the curve turns against you because people want to know. It is for the first time that he has come in Gamba. It is for the first time that he's visited our school, our village. But what is he bringing us? What has he brought for us? And that is where you will realize that Ruto is under temptation to dish money. I'm going to look at that maybe in my next analysis. Lastly, someone should tell President Ruto straight in the eye that the hustler tag is already done. The personal branding around hustler, the chief hustler tag, has already been shed off. That already been proved, but the virtue of him being president, it was very easy and better to maneuver your way with that during the campaigns because it was supported by some sympathy card victim that I am being harassed by Uhuru Kenyatta simply because I am a hustler. In fact, the hustler narrative in Mount Kenya, the anchor narrative in it was on I am a victim of mistreatment by Uhuru Kenyatta. But the hustler was not supported by the fact that he was a chicken seller. And so, even if you try, as much as you can eat the number of maize, you can even take, you know me, one of my hustling job, my first hustling job was a hawker in Kisumu in 2012, immediately after finishing my secondary school. Even if you can go and take those boxes now, anza kusema maji soda baridi. Even if you're gonna do that, there is nothing extreme, worst, and there is nothing very petty, or there is no small business that Ruto can do and trying to interact with that can still show Kenyans that is a hustler. There is no way we can have a president who is a hustler. You know, it can't. As a president, someone who is being escorted by the huge guzzlers, and apart from a helicopter, 2 security helicopters, you know, come on, it is all there. So if Ruto will still want to ride on this election and the next election using the hustler tag, I think he's late, and it's a bit misplaced. So even if you want to create us versus them, what is trying to create is an us versus them. Us versus them now cannot be, because Kenyan seems to be understanding that there are only 2 tribes, poor and the rich, the leader, the ruler, and the ruled. The moment people get to hear and understand that is the 2 people that we have in this country, the 2 groups we have in this country, it will be very difficult to convince people, as much as you go and try to do publicity stunts. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruto is in the coast for a political tour, and I'm supporting my statement on this because a day before that tour started, those who are planning on how to receive the president were UDA leaders. You know, and there was like, well, we have protocol officers, we have elected leaders, structures like governor. The governor is supposed to welcome the president. Ruto has never stepped into any county government office. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Let's look at it in the next. Thank you very much for watching.